Hello, it's me, back with another tier list. This time for Warhammer Fantasy Battles, which doesn't exist anymore, unfortunately. Now it's Age of Sigmar. But thank goodness interest is maintained through the Total War Warhammer Fantasy stuff. I think that's kind of cool that it's still going there at least. There's another a new Warhammer Fantasy coming out. Warhammer Total uh, Total War Warhammer Fantasy coming out. Um, there's other games too. Mordheim, I believe, is one. There's the Vermintide games, all Warhammer Total or Warhammer Fantasy Battles. Too many names, too much war in the titles. This is, I'm pretty sure, the only tier list that exists for Warhammer Fantasy. And it had me mighty confused. I recognize some of these symbols, um, but most of them are from the Total War Warhammer games, which I never really played, so a little hard pressed to recognize these. I got on Lexicanum, couldn't find symbols for the fucking factions. I got on the Warhammer wiki, I found some like this. I didn't know this symbol, but that's for the Chaos Dwarves. But luckily there's this website, which happens to have, I think, every Total War faction listed out, and it seems to be a Total War resource website, but it happened to have all the faction emblems for the Total Wars, Total War Warhammer, and then Total War Warhammer 2. So I was able to piece most of these together using that. And then obviously I recognized the Chaos Gods symbols. And this one had me hard pressed. That's obviously the Ogres. This one I'm still not sure about. I think that's supposed to represent like Chaos Undivided. Why I'm pretty positive that's the Chaos Undivided symbol, but I think it's supposed to be for the Demon faction, because I believe like 40k Warhammer Fantasy Battles has a just Chaos Demon faction, so that like Warriors of Chaos and stuff could have allies. And then some of these factions I don't think are represented on the tabletop on their own, but are part of different factions. Like I think Chaos Dwarves are technically not like an army. Norska is not an army, I don't believe. Kislev kinda was an army, not really. I think you could only ever take a detachment of them, like as an ally. But before that, I think they were just Imperial troops. There's the Vampire Coast, which I don't know anything about. I feel like that's just a straight up game faction, but I could be wrong. I was never as much into the Warhammer Fantasy lore, although I like Warhammer Fantasy. I wish I could get more into it, but it's, dead, except for the video games. Yeah, so I got a little list here to help me keep track of what symbol means what. Oh, Estalia / the Southern Realms here. That's another one that I think was just, they counted as Imperial, but as you can also see, there are less rows, only 5, so it's going to be a little bit more crowded. Starting off, we got Beastmen. Beastmen are one of my least favorite, actually. I really don't like Beastmen. I remember back when I was trying to get into it and I was cruising Lexicanum quite a bit, I looked up Beastmen and I don't really like the lore. I don't think I like how they play, even though I've never played them. and I'm not a fan. I'm just not a fan. Next up is Brittonia. I kind of like Brittonia. I'm gonna put them up in A. They're pretty cool. They're the other major human faction that was actually playable on the tabletop. There was the Empire, and then there was Brittonia. And while there's other human factions like Astalia and Kislev, you know, they really weren't a thing. But yeah, I kind of like the knight chivalry stuff. It's kind of cool. I don't know. Dwarves, I think technically in the Warhammer universe it's dwarfs. I'm gonna put them in B. I'm not a big fan of how much they use gunpowder in their like kind of steampunk shit. Like they get helicopters and stuff, and it's just, or gyrocopters, just kind of stupid in my opinion. I don't know. Oh, sorry, I'm tired. Orcs, I guess they're gonna go and see same reasons as the Warhammer 40k orcs. I'm just not big into them. I mean, like, I think they're okay, but they're just not my cup of tea personally. So I don't hate them, but I'm not a big fan. This one is Lizardmen. Lizardmen are definitely my favorite faction. Or favorite, maybe second favorite, maybe tied for favorite. They're one of the first models I saw when I was a young kid in the local game store. I liked the dinosaurs and stuff, so I was like, man, I really like those guys. I'd really like to have some of them. And I think I saw them before I ever saw Warhammer 40k stuff. I think that my first exposure to wargaming was seeing a box of Lizardmen, like Saurus, I think. I also dig the Mesoamerican kind of thing going on, and just their lore is pretty cool in general. So they're a solid S. High Elves, I'm gonna put them below the dwarves. I'm not too into elves. I mean, I think I kind of like the Atlantean thing going on, that they have going on, but I don't know, man. They're just kind of like Mary Sue's, and I don't know. I also kind of like the Dragon Rider shit, but I don't know. They're just, I don't like them very much. I like the dwarves more, except for like the steampunk and overuse of gunpowder and technology stuff. I really like the dwarves. Oh, sorry. Tomb Kings, I'm gonna put them above dwarves, but not in A. Well, I really like them. I'm not as much of a fan of them as I am the Necrons. Sorry about that, I got interrupted. Yeah, I think I like the Necrons more aesthetically. I mean, I don't know, I don't hate the Tomb Kings, but they just, I don't know, I think there's more interesting factions in Warhammer Fantasy, like the Lizardmen. Khorne, okay. I also want to say it's a bit odd that the Chaos Gods are listed here separately, but I think that's because they're supposed to be their own factions in the new upcoming Warhammer game, their new upcoming Total War Warhammer game. I'm not a big fan of any Chaos really, but I think Khorne goes in C above Orcs, but Slaanesh is my least favorite Chaos God, but I think I like I like Slanesh more than I like the fucking Beastmen. This is Dark Elves. Dark Elves I like here. I don't like Dark Elves very much either. I think I like them less in Warhammer Fantasy. They kind of occupy like the North American part of the world, but like I don't really know what's going on with them at all. I don't know. Norska, I think it's pretty cool. I'm gonna put them maybe right here. Like I said, not represented. I don't think on the tabletop. I think they're just a part of like the Warriors of Chaos faction, but I don't know. Next up, we got Nergal. Nergal's alright. I'd maybe put him above Khorne. I don't know. Maybe they're tied. The Warhammer fantasy gods are slightly different from the 40k chaos gods. And whereas I think I'd like Nergal more in 40k, I think I kind of like Khorne equally as much in fantasy. He has some better things going for him in fantasy. Estalia / the Southern Lands, I'm gonna like put them just above the Elves. I don't really know much about them. The only thing I know is from the Skaven lore. I know they fuck up a city in Talea, which is like kind of grouped with these guys, I think. But I don't know how they play. I don't know much about them. They're beat. They're just okay. Whatever. They're a human race. I'm fine with that. Imperials, I'm gonna actually put tied with Brittonia. Maybe a little above. I think the Imperials get a lot more variety in what they can do, and I mean obviously they're a big empire with many different factions divided up. But I think they're pretty cool. I think they're definitely pretty cool. I like Nuln the best, I think, out of all the different Imperial factions. Nuln is pretty cool. Tzeentch, I'm gonna actually tie with Khorne and Nergal. Slanesh is really the only Chaos God I really don't like. The other ones I'm pretty ambivalent about. I guess Tzeentch might inch out a little above Khorne and Nergal, but vampire counts, I'm gonna put them just above the Chaos Gods, just below Norska though. I think they're okay, but I just don't dig the aesthetic very much. And also like how I don't know. It's just they're weird. They're a weird faction. Chaos Dwarves, I'm gonna put them maybe there. This isn't a very balanced list here. I mean I think they're cool, one of the cooler Chaos factions as well, but I mean like I just don't know much about them. I mean they're not very prevalent, or weren't very prevalent when I was reading lore as a youngster. I think when I was reading, they weren't really a thing anymore. Like they were recognized in lore, but there weren't really models for them or anything. And like they're cool, Chaos Dwarves. You know, it's kind of cool. But I don't see what's too special about them, I guess. I'm gonna count this as Chaos Demons. I'm gonna put them below Orcs. Actually, I'm gonna put them down here. I hate demons being their own faction. I talked about that in the 40k video. It's just stupid. Just stupid. Ogres. Now this is a good one. I'm gonna put Ogres above the Tomb Kings. I really like the Ogres. I think they're pretty cool. I like the lore. I like the like hungering maw shit. I like that they eat everything. I think it's pretty cool. I like that they're mercenaries, and I like where they're located in the world. Uh, I mean, they're pretty interesting. Warriors of Chaos, I'm gonna put right here. I do like Warriors of Chaos. I thought about if I was to get into Warhammer Fantasy Battles, buying or making a Warriors of Chaos army, just because I kind of thought I'd like how they would play, and they'd be slightly easier and less expensive than what I was really gonna build. Which is the next faction, the Skaven, which is my tied for first favorite. I think Skaven are great. I like the lore. I like that they're backstabbing little shits. I like that they're the horde faction. I like that no one really knows that they exist, but they have this huge underbelly of a world that they inhabit, and they just kind of come up selectively and fuck shit up. I don't know. It's cool. It's cool. Vampire Coast, I don't know about them, but the little bit I looked into them, I don't really like them. I'm gonna put them like just above demons, I guess. I think they're tied to the Dark Elves anyway. I think they're like on the North American part of the world. Whatever. Kislev's gonna go in A. If they were their own faction at any point on the tabletop, maybe they would be above the Imperials. And I know they're going to be like kind of the stars of this next game. I do really like Kislev. I like the aesthetic. I like a lot of their lore. Maybe even more than the Imperials. Maybe I'll put them above Imperials and Brittonia, which I'm going to say are tied. I think the lore is really cool. It's just that, there really wasn't any way to play them, and then there's the game coming up, so that'll be nice. You'll get to actually feel like a main character playing as Kislev. So Wood Elves, I'm gonna put like here. I think I like High Elves more than Wood Elves, for no particular reason. I just don't really care about Wood Elves, and I think with elves, I like the high elf aesthetic more than I like the wood elf aesthetic. That's just me though. But yeah, I think that's it. I don't think I need to fuck around with this. I don't feel any way about this really. Not like the 40k list where I kind of hemmed and hawed about where I wanted to put some people. This is pretty straightforward here. I feel pretty comfortable about this. Human factions mostly in A. The only one that's not is Astalia / the Southern Realms. Basically all the human realms that don't fucking matter, and then you got the human realms that matter in A. And then ogres are pretty cool. They're definitely a B tier. Probably the reason why I wouldn't have built an army of them while I was really considering Warriors of Chaos was having to do like flesh and stuff and like faces. That just seems so hard to paint, whereas Warriors of Chaos would have just been armor. And I'd feel more comfortable doing like rat and lizard faces. Human faces are odd, but the rat and lizard faces, I think you could fuck up a little bit and they'd still look okay. They're not super expressive, and like the expression that is there isn't like being painted on, right? Anyway, that's the list. Skaven and Lizardmen, my favorite. I had a little Skaven army for a while. Never did anything with it, and I don't even think it was very much. I don't even know if you consider it like an army. It was like their little starter pack of Skaven that you'd buy, like you'd pay like $50 and you'd have the models for like a 500-point army or some shit. I don't know. Never painted it, just put it together. Had a couple rat ogres and I think some Molder priests, some clan Molder priests or whatever. Maybe Pestilence priests, I don't remember. and I think Clan Pestilence priests. I think Molder, I don't think they have priests. They had like engineers or some shit. And then a bunch of rats. A couple of the more armored, like tougher rats. I forget what they're called. Don't know what happened to that. That's probably in a box somewhere. Was donated to a pawn shop. So yeah, that's my list. I'll stop ranting now. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.